Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the fifth and final day of the series of webinars we've been presenting so far in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the English Teacher Training College at Instituto Superior de Formación Docente número 22 Adolfo Alsina. We say hello to the people here on Zoom, lovely to see you, and to those following us on YouTube right now. We are so very happy that the students who've been participating have found the topics discussed so far so enriching and stimulating. We also appreciate that many colleagues from different cities have joined the talks. Thank you so very much. Over the past decades, the field of English language teaching has certainly been transformed by the many challenges education has faced, which demands that teachers rethink the role and the resources and strategies they use when designing their lessons. We must carefully consider the social changes we are part of and let the voices of our students be heard in the class. Expressing our own identity in the foreign language is of paramount importance, just as much as presenting diverse cultures which express themselves in English is. Empowering our learners so that they develop critical thinking skills by addressing comprehensive sexuality education should also be unquestionably part of our curriculum in action. Granting curricular justice by fostering participation and by focusing on the interests of the least advantaged is a requirement if we want the classroom to become a democratic one. Recognizing the need for professional development and the value of investigating our own classroom should also become a fundamental part of our agenda. All these ideas and proposals have been the ones put forward over the past 4 days by the group of exceptional guests who so generously accepted our invitation and joined in the celebration of our anniversary. We want to thank them all one more time: Claudia Ferradas, Paola Cosu, Gabriela Brun, Mariano Quinterno, and Darío Vanegas for their significant and meaningful contribution. Today, we round things off with literature as a bodily experience. And what a better way to bring the celebration to an end than having Griselda Beacon with us. She has generally accepted to deliver the closing webinar, and we thank her very much for that. Griselda Beacon is a teacher of English who holds an MA in Literature and Language from Philipps Universität Marburg. She will later on tell me if that was okay, from Germany. She delivers teacher training workshops for Oxford University Press, ISFD, and NILE, the Norwich Institute for Language Education. She lectures in American literature at Universidad de Buenos Aires and teaches contemporary literature, children's and young adults literature, creativity and drama at teacher training colleges in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Now you know her very well, so get ready to make the most of this experience with the amazing Griselda Beacon. Thank you, Griselda. It's over to you now.
Thank you. Thank you for this lovely presentation. Hopefully, we can have a wonderful session with you together, right? So thank you very much for being part of this week in which you are celebrating your 50th anniversary. I think it's a great thing for an institution to be able to celebrate 50 years in the region. And it's great to do it like this. And I'm very happy that you put me in. So, and it's a big responsibility as well to be now in charge of this session after all my colleagues, right? So I will try to do my best, and I won't do it alone. I will do it with you, right? So we will try to do it as interactive as possible. But having said that, I guess that what I'm trying to do today is a mixture of things. On the one hand, is trying to explain a little bit what is the approach that I follow, so that you can understand the practice, right? And how the practice is actually informed by the approach, right? And how the approach as well modifies itself constantly because we are in permanent move, like we change a lot. So whatever I say today, maybe I would not say in a week time. So we never know. But today, this is what I'm planning to share with you. So let's see how it works. I will ask you to participate with me, but as you are so many, I decided that perhaps a good way to do it is writing on the chat. So I will be, using, reading aloud what you're saying in the chat, and I think it's going to be a bit more organized, right? That is the way I will try to interact with you. If you need to ask anything in the middle of the presentation or in the middle of the webinar, don't worry, just ask, because I can stop and, pick it up where I left it. So it's okay, right? And so having said that, I think I can share the presentation to have a kind of organization. Okay, so I'm going to share. So this is the PowerPoint, which I will interrupt when the books appear in a way, right? So it says, literature as a bodily experience, storytelling and drama techniques in the English classroom. Let's see. This is my motto today. That's why I say today, because it will change. I'm sure it will change. I heard a storyteller say when she won an award, something that I started thinking about. She said, I read to tell, and I tell for people to read, or for children to read, which I found it was very nice. It was wonderful. How nice, no? To read, to tell, and to tell for people to read. And I found that was really inspiring. And I started, that triggered thoughts. And I said, why do I do what I do? What is behind my approach? What is what moves me, right? And so I said, well, then I read literature to share with others. That's what I do now. At the beginning, when I was younger, I read for me. I just wanted to read for me. I needed reading. But now I realize that whenever I pick up a book and I read, I think, who am I going to share it with? So it's like, this kind of connection with others. And then I thought, and I share with others to socialize knowledge. And I think that I take it as a responsibility as a teacher, educator, right, to socialize knowledge. And I hope you agree with me in this. I guess I will change my motto the more I think about it. But I am happy now with my reasons for what I do, because it makes sense. It makes sense, right? And making sense, I think, is one of the things why we teach English. When we ask nowadays somebody, why do you teach English, or what is your purpose when you teach English? When you plan your lessons, well, the first thing we say, it has to be meaningful, right? So it needs to make sense. It has to be meaningful. And then we say it has to be communicative. And communicative, we add the layer of intercultural communication as well. And we add the layer of culture to communication. And in my case, I add other elements to the approach, which I think need to be verbalized, because we do them in class all the time, but we do not actually verbalize them. We do not actually bring it to the surface in a way and make it visible. And what is behind my approach is a creative and artistic and playful approach to learning. So it is both, and it is exactly as important, the creative thinking part as the cognitive and critical thinking part. So I take everything into account. It's like I add layers to the approach. And sometimes I teach with my creative hat on, and it's the most important one. And then the cognitive and the critical are there as well, but like in the background. Sometimes I'm more playful, and sometimes I'm more critical, but all of this is always somehow surrounding my, my proposal. So today I brought basically stories, and I was thinking questions that I had in mind when I think about stories. And here there are some stories I put here just as an example. And I was thinking, how often do you use stories in your classroom? No? Do you use stories in your classroom? Because sometimes you say, I would like to, but I can't. I don't know how. I do. So, and what do you think is the best age to start with stories, for example? Or to, I mean, or are you only using stories with very young learners, or all along, you know, the different levels? And what do you look for when you choose a story for your class? Just choose any one of them and try to say something in the chat for me to see what your opinion is about this, what your experience is when you think about stories. Do you use them often? Or do you think there is a best age to start? Or what do you look for when you choose a story? I'll be reading your answers when you start writing. Oh, people are starting to write. I use them often, says Cynthia. Good. And what about what you look for when you choose? All ages, says Priscilla. Thank you, Priscilla. We are on the same path there, on the same track. So that's great. I also think that it's for all ages. Yes. I use stories with teens and adults, says Noelia. Good. Well, I'm afraid I don't use them much, says Steffi. Don't worry, Steffi. Hopefully after this webinar, you start using them. I look for something that engages, that involves, that moves, or somehow generates something in the students. Okay. All ages are okay, says Claudia. Great. Happy to hear that. Somebody has the mic on. Yes, thank you. Right. So, and what do you look for when you choose a story? What is it that you want to teach, or what calls your attention, or what? A message, right? I use them often and for all ages. I look for something they can enjoy and get involved. Great, Clarissa, fantastic. Right. Some people have a more aesthetic perspective. Right. I look for engagement, creativity, and meaningful language use. Entertainment, says Noelia. Great. Lovely. Fun. I have just started to make my practicas, and I choose to use a fable, which is short, simple, which will help them to treat other better. So you're working with messages, values, colors, to teach colors. Thank you, people. Thank you. Well, there is no real answer for your questions right now, but perhaps we can go back to them when we finish at the end of the webinar. So now this is the reason why these are some of the reasons, because it is a never-ending list, right? But these are some of the reasons that I have when I choose stories to work with as my teaching material. And the first thing I would say is that we're teaching a language, and stories are full of words, as simple as that. So, and not only that, but stories, literature, no? What it has is the most expressive form of language. So I love that part of literature, right? Is language in its most expressive form. And they are suitable for all ages. And they provide, and I think this is something I would like to say, and to say it out loud, they provide opportunities for spontaneous, extensive listening. And this is not innocent, because I always wonder, if we do not create room in class for children to listen to language, how can they possibly understand or feel that a language, a foreign language, is much more than the key words they have to use to complete an activity book? How can I provide, as a teacher, the opportunity for them to listen to language? Now, they won't understand that language, Well, we think they won't, but if we use lots of strategies from drama, from storytelling, and if we use the literary text, we have a lot of resources that contribute to create room for them to understand. And that extensive listening gives sense of language, right? And then I put speaking. And here, I don't know if I will have time to explore or to expand on that. What kind of speaking do we expect here? Do we expect speaking in English? Could mother tongue come in? And there's lots of things to say here, which if we have time, I will expand on that. Stories feed children's imagination. They help to introduce complex topics. And they are bridges to introduce an intercultural perspective in language education. And most importantly, they are an invitation to play. So look at all the benefits just a simple story has. Now, storytelling, drama, and picture books. This is for me a wonderful combination. A combination, the Fab Three, no? The fabulous three. Now, storytelling promotes children's engagement because you're telling the story and you are looking at the children and you are using, what do we use when we use storytelling? We use all of us. We use the tone of voice, we use the body language, facial expressions, the language, the pauses we make, everything. And that promotes children's engagement and it triggers imagination. When we use drama techniques, we put the body in motion, yeah, or we put us all in motion. So imagine if we're combining the drama techniques with the storytelling techniques together. And if we add a picture book, which is a multi-sensory and interactive and holistic experience, we are creating a fantastic artistic moment in our English class. Moreover, in picture books, stories are embedded in an artistic and aesthetic proposal. Artistic, particularly thinking about visual arts, which is also something so necessary in class, especially as a counter strategy for all the stereotypical visual input children get. So it's very necessary that we also educate them in arts as well. And we can do all of that in our English class when we're telling a story. And this is more or less my approach. I mean, my approach when it comes to working with the story, right? So when I start working with the story, and it has like 4 different moments. Again, I always change this, right? It is always in construction, right? I start with something that is like a surprise for them. Sometimes I use my mystery box like this one. And here, for example, for you, I've got something here. Yeah, it's not going to be the story we're going to tell, but it doesn't matter. I thought that it could be, wait a minute, let me see if, look, I show you this, only this. Somebody says, hello, hello. Can you imagine what I have inside the box? Yeah, can you write on the chat? Can you write on the chat what I have inside the box if you know, if you could guess? Oh, yes, somebody was checking my Instagram. Oh, yes, lovely. It's Pete the cat. Look, hello, I'm Pete the cat. And look at this, this with the 4 groovy buttons. But look at this, when I open the jacket, look what is inside. Look, it's got a red heart, beating heart. Now, with the kids, I bring this. And of course, when I show them, it's going to be one of the Pete the cat stories, right? Because that's why Pete the cat is here. Not with you now, because I think Pete the cat is a very well-known story. So I chose another one to work with you. But so this is the way to start. So the kids start thinking, are you going to tell the one with the white shoes, or are you going to tell the 4 ruby buttons, or what story? So that is how you start engaging them. Then the circle time, which would be the story time. There are many ways to call that moment. we have the reading aloud or the book talk, when you stop reading and you stop with that one image and you start talking about it and, you know, getting ideas from the kids. Or when you're doing the expressive and interactive reading or the storytelling without the book, or using resources, for example, performing, chanting, encountering the intercultural. All of this is happening in the circle time, right? And in different ways, and not all the time, everything at the same time. Then comes a moment which for me is super important as the circle time, which is owning the literary text. And that part is always creative, right? And that part is the moment in which the children do their creative artistic task, or when we play with others, or when we perform, or when we do the arts and crafts, or when we experience the intercultural in one way or another. Because it's the moment I give children to approach the text again, to have a look at the text again, to read the text again on their own, to pick up the words they want, to draw, etc., etc. It's a moment which is very free and a very personal moment, even though they're working in small groups. When that is done, then I go to the language focus, which is optional, because sometimes I don't do the language focus. I go back to the beginning again with surprising them with another book. This circle time may work several times with the same book. And what I change is what happens in the process, right? So if I read the book with the book, then perhaps the second time I just come with resources and I use puppets instead of the book, or I do a performative thing. So it depends. And I propose another activity, right? And that's more or less the circle. So then comes the circle time itself. And now I will stop sharing because I would like to do it with you now. I would like to share one story with you. And for that, I would ask Juan to see whether I can be on the, I don't know,
the speaker view. Everyone should choose, instead of the gallery view, the speaker view.
So yes, you're right. Thank you.
So that they see you, you know, up front.
There I am. Perfect. Great. Perfect. So wait a second. Because I need to see the book. Just here. Right. Perfect. I'm going to share with you a book, which is a wordless book. It's a picture book I bring to my English class, which is a wordless book. And actually, do you know what a wordless book is? Would you write on the chat? Do you know what a wordless book is? It's very easy. I think that the word says it. Priscilla says, no, I don't know, but I guess it has no words. Pictures only. It has no printed words. Okay, a book with no words. Excellent. Yes, it's that. It's a book with no words. Sometimes we have books without pictures, right? And sometimes we have books without words. Now, this is one which actually is in Spanish and it has no words. So exactly, we're going, and in this particular case, we're going to build the story together. And every time I read it, it's a new story. Now, this is the book. It's called Teléfono Descompuesto, which in English is called telephone. And so here we have, you know, the good thing about this is that it's a secret. So I'm going to tell you a secret, or we are all going to tell us a secret. So I hope you're ready for the story, because I'm going to show you well, always picture books have this amazing thing called the end papers. And in this case, it's deep green and it has nothing. So it's a page to explore. And then we have the first picture. Now look, we have the buffoon telling a secret to the king. Now we need to imagine what the buffoon tells the king, and that will be the beginning of our story. Can you write on the chat what you think the buffoon is telling the king? And then there is the beginning. Let's make fun of them. Great. Let's make fun of them. Now, here we have an intriguing thing, and this is the book talk we do. Them. Who are them? Who are they going to make fun of? Now, the king meets someone, and the person the king meets, who do you think? The king the king runs to tell a secret to somebody else. Maybe it's the same secret, maybe it's different. And the king meets whom? A knight, his wife, the queen. Okay, now I think that Vanessa was right. The king meets a knight. And now, what do you think the king tells the knight? We've got a great idea. So now here we have what the knight gets. We've got a great idea. Now, what can this idea be? Now, apparently the knight knows, because the knight runs and tells who? I will give you the queen, not the queen, not the queen, the princess, the cook. Oh no, not another knight, not the servant, not the cook, and not another king. I will tell you one word for you to guess. It's somebody who works underneath the sea. Who can work underneath the sea? And it's not an octopus. A diver, yes, look. The knight meets the diver, and he tells the diver the great idea. What can this great idea be? Now you need to tell me. Oh, great. So the knight tells the diver, you've got to help us with something. People, we still don't know what that something is. I'm driving crazy. Okay, now the diver meets someone, and this something needs to appear, I guess. Now, who do you think the diver meets? A mermaid, that's great, but it's not a mermaid. A surfer, it's not a surfer. I will give you one hint. It's somebody who lives on a ship. On a boat, on a ship, yes. A sailor, yeah, a pirate, exactly. It was the pirate of the cover, remember? Now, the sailor tells that something to the pirate. What can that be? What is the secret now? I'm waiting for the secret. I'm desperate here. A treasure. Oh, we need more fish. Have you got some money to lend us? The knight needs money. Let's have a surprise party. Okay, and who do you think the pirate is going to meet, to talk to? Not meet, because they're together, but now let's go to, we need more fish. Okay, the crew. No, it's not the crew. No, it's somebody else. Not the fisherman. I'm going to tell you, yes, Cynthia is right. The parrot, every pirate has a parrot. Now look at the parrot. The parrot is very, very curious. And now he got the secret, which could be something like, it's going to be a surprise party at the king's, and we need more fish. Now the parrot goes and tells somebody about the party, about the king, about the fish, about this, about that, to whom? You won't get this one. You won't get this at all, but I'm going to give you a hint. They go to an island and they meet someone on that island. Not the people in town, but not another animal. No, they meet, or the parrot meets a chief of a native tribe. Wow, the chief, look at his eyes. He seems to be worried about this. Oh, yes. And yeah, because the parrot says something about the treasure again. Oh, the parrot rescued the treasure idea. So the party's gone. And so the chief meets someone who can go to an island to meet a tribe in today's world. Who can it be? You won't guess this one, but I will give you a hint. That person wears a camera and a hat for the mosquitoes. Yes, a tourist. Look at the tourist. The tourist gets the news. Oh my, oh my. And the tourist, what do you think the chief tells the tourist? They are coming, they are coming. Oh yes, that's a nice one. They are coming. Now again, we go back to they and them, and we have no clue who they are and who they are. Now the tourist meets someone. We need you to record what's going to happen. Oh, yes, with the camera. That's a good one. You're going to be the one who, the chronicler. Wow, I like that role. Now, this tourist meets whom? That he's going to tell this to someone, and you won't imagine who this person is. I will give you a hint. Someone wearing very cool glasses. Not his family. He meets this lady. Look at that. Oh my. Oh my. And what does he tell Susana? Yes, she looks like Susana Jimenez in disguise. Absolutely. This is when we contextualize learning, right? Now, what do you think Susana Jimenez would say? A glamorous lady. Are you ready for the party? Oh, great. The tourist invites Susana Jimenez to the party. And who do you think Susana Jimenez? Me lo como. Oh, yes, of course. Alive, right? Perfect. Now, this is an inner joke about us, because among us, because kids will never get this, or adolescents either, right? Now, Susana meets someone, and we are leaving, you know, the pirate and the parrot and the tourist and the island and the native, and we are going into a new world. Now, you won't get this, so I will show you who Susana meets. Look. She meets Granny. Now, Granny comes from what story? Little Red Riding Hood. So who do you think Granny is going to pass the secret to? Exactly, the wolf. Now pay attention to the wolf. Oh my goodness. What happened here? Has he already eaten poor Little Red Riding Hood? Oh my, but look at his eyes. He seems to be very much convinced. What would she tell him? Wow. Now the wolf meets, hey, look at this. The wolf meets Little Red Riding Hood. Of course, she's cool. She's wearing a hoodie, right? She's not wearing an old thing. She's wearing a hoodie. Now look, what happened here? Oh, Vanessa says there'll be a feast at the castle. We have to get ready. Ah, look at that. The wolf is planning to eat lots of other people, I think. Look at what he's wearing. And now, Little Red Riding Hood doesn't seem to be very happy here. So she meets who? The hunter. Yes, exactly. And what do you look at it? Look at her eyes. Now look at the way she looks, right? So who do you think she's telling that? What she's telling? What do you think she's telling the hunter? help me. Right, right, that's a great phrase, help me. And now the hunter meets somebody. Somebody every hunter has. And it's not human. A dog, right. Look at this lovely, amazing hound. And what does the hunter say? Catch him, right. And yeah, the dog starts running fast, really, really fast. And look at what he does. Catch him. And what he caught was the buffoon. And so that is how the story comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. So now that the story is over, I would like to go back to the presentation. So let me see. Oh, thank you, Vane, for that. It was difficult to tell this particular story on Zoom, but I wanted to give it a try because I thought if we go back to the presentation, just give me a minute. If we go back to the presentation, give me a second. And if we go back to this part, the circle time, right? I was doing, what do you think? Have a look at what I wrote there and tell me what of all of this you saw happening in the kind of work we did together. So this is a moment of reflection. There was interactive storytelling all the time because I was constantly asking you to create the story with me, and I was trying all the time to adapt my telling to what you were adding to it, right? Yes, we were owning the literary text because it became ours. It was our story. There was a lot of book talk here, right? Exactly. Was there expressive reading here? All of them were. Okay. That I used all of them. Well, yeah, a little bit of each of them, right? There was no chanting. I was not singing anything in this case. There is always performing. Encountering the cultural by guessing characters in classical stories. Great that you're saying that, Vanessa, because the story, I mean, it's a great story if you want, for example, if you were about to start working with fairy tales in the classroom, it's a great story to show children the main characters. So you had first the buffoon and the king. So this is all the characters in the storytelling. Then it was the knight. And then we went into pirate stories, more adventurous stories, right? Because we moved to the world in the sea, like the diver and the pirate and the parrot and the native and then we went into more classical things like the tour, more contemporary things like tourists nowadays. What do they do when they go? You know, there's a lot we can discuss critically about tourism as a way of neo-colonialism, right? Especially in some areas which are invaded by some tourists. Sorry for the word invaded. Now, then we came to another folktale, fairy, which was Little Red Riding Hood, and the trigger was the granny. From the granny, we moved into the wolf, and then the Little Red Riding Hood, and then the hunter and the dog, to go back as a kind of circle to the buffoon. And in that way, you get to know what children know about fairy tales, whether they know, because nowadays children may not know about all the fairy tales we know. So, and you know, sharing fairy tales is part of our cultural heritage. And then you have a great opportunity to transform fairy tales and to bring into the classroom more contemporary fractured tales, no, more adapted to our days. I mean, there are lots of stories nowadays in which the fairy tales are, either they have a feminist touch or well, they are very critical about some aspects of traditional fairy tales, more accommodated to our cultural reality. For example, the Bloody Chamber is great for that. As somebody says in the, there seems to be a shift in historical times. Exactly. So there are lots of contemporary stories based on playing intertextually with other fairy tales. And in that way, you're also bringing critical thinking into the classroom, especially with adolescents, right? Criticizing traditional fairy tales from a contemporary perspective. This is a great kind of work you can do in your English class. I won't do that now with you, but these are the activities that this kind of proposal helps you to do. So, having said that, I will move on with the next aspect, which is owning the literary text. And here, it is the moment in which, as I said before, and I repeat, we foster creative responses to for example, to problematize naturalized bias in the classroom. In the case of, for example, which is now a common thing, but the fact that in fairy tales they have to marry. No, you can problematize that. No, that can be an aspect that a prince has to marry a princess, for example. And so that can be problematized, and a lot more from our own cultural context will come up here. And also you can create room for self-expression, right? In which it can be more playful in a way. And at the very same time, the children are learning English, which is what comes together with, right? And this is my sort of organization of what I do when I propose a creative output. So we have already read the literary text, right? Imagine here, I do this with the children, but I will talk about what I do with teachers, with student teachers. So we have worked with the literary text, and I try to read it in such a way to my student teachers as I do with you, so you can go through the experience as if like your children do when you tell them a story. Then, because there is a lot going on, right? You may reject the story, you may not like it, you may be in love with it. Lots of things happen when you are part of the circle time. Then, with my student teachers, what we do is we work with the literary and cultural content, because it is also part of my of what I think is necessary as well, the literary text itself, not as a text which can be used for the seasons, used for the clothes, used for the colors, that kind of utilitarian aspect of the literary text. I feel always a bit sad when that is the first entry. And also the cultural content, as well as the one we talked about, the differences, Then I give them a very open task. It can be performative, it can be creative, it can be artistic, it can be visual art, it can be different things. Like, for example, a typical open task could be, which is very performative, for them to create tableaus, which is a technique in drama, which is very simple, easy, and accessible. Tableaus are frozen images, right? So the students need to look at the text, find out the different moments in the text, and represent those moments with themselves, no? So if there is, if the moment is when the little girl is going to be eaten by the wolf, so because they think that that is an important moment. So one has to be Little Red Riding Hood. And so that person will have to wear something red, for example, and would have to be like, oh, and the wolf would have to be like, ah, and somebody takes a picture of them. Or they simply remember the scene. Because then in class, in the show and tell and share, what they do is they represent it in front of the class, and the class needs to guess what moment of the story that is. So in that way, they have done an amazing cognitive activity, which is deciding on the moments they were going to represent, right? This is absolutely cognitive. Then perhaps they organize it in a sequence. So a very, very cognitive activity as well, right? Like organizing the story in sequences, what comes first, what comes second, etc. Then they need to be very creative to decide how they're going to do this, who is going to participate, what role they are going to have. They have to practice it, right? Now, many teachers say, but they use Spanish when they do that. Yes, they do. Yes, as we do when we practice for our exams with our students, right? With our colleagues, with our classmates. But the text they are using is a text in English. The story they are, articulating is a story they heard in English or they read in English, right? So that English is constantly interacting with their Spanish, and they are doing, translanguaging all the time. Or sometimes they go to the story and they read the text for them to remember what part they want to use for the tableau. And in that way, the whole circle is finished with the reflection. When it is in the classroom with the students, reflection can be of what do you think you learned, whether they enjoyed it, whether it was easy to work in groups, what we did throughout the whole day, what were the steps of the class for them to see the organization. When it is with my student teachers is what they have learned in terms of didactics of literature to bring it to their own classroom or their own practice, right? So it's the reflection can be different depending on this. There was something I wanted to say and it escaped my mind twice. What a thing, I don't remember. I hope it comes back. It had to do with language. Yeah, it had to do with English and Spanish, which is always an issue for the teachers, especially when it's the creative part. Hopefully I remember, but I don't know if I will. Anyway, so I wanted to share with you other examples in which I used not other examples, a concrete example of the tableaus. And we were working at the teacher training college with my students, and it was the year, it was about Shakespeare, and we were working with Macbeth adapted for adolescents. No, not adapted, because that's not the word I would like to use. It was Macbeth for adolescents. So it was manga Shakespeare, basically, what we were working with. No, that was the genre I chose. It was, and so we read Macbeth, and then I also chose Macbeth for young learners. And you know that Shakespeare, and I have the book here, I'm going to look for it to show it. I didn't have it right now, but I will in a minute. I have Shakespeare for babies, and I love it. But this was Shakespeare for adolescents. So after we read the whole thing, I said, well, as a creative task, you have to create tableaus or frozen scenes. And so I gave an open task, and they prepared this. And what they did is they took the pictures of themselves doing this. There was a group of 3, and they also, I mean, one was the photographer, and the other ones were the actors. And they put words there, keywords, and then they showed it to us. And so we had to imagine or to say things about them. And nobody understood what was the warm-up game, fun play. That the first part we didn't understand, because we understood glory, victory, brave, pride, death, battle. So we worked with the story and we said, well, yes, whatever related to Macbeth, but not the first part. Because what they did was, that was the difficult one, because they wanted to play a game with us. And we didn't know. So we were intrigued. And then they played a game with us, and it was fun. And it was intriguing in a way. And they really enjoyed taking us by surprise, right? This could have been there or not. It was their choice, because when you give an open task, you also give room for them to do different things and to dare, right? And once they know that this is the way they work, they start opening up and bringing more and more of themselves, right? Then of course, when you work with language with a more language focus, then you may give them more controlled activities, right? But these are a bit less controlled. So in this activity, what they showed is that they used their creative thinking skills, they used their imagination, they tried to solve problems. And the activity was very hands-on. There was a lot of physical movement and play, and there was self-expression as well. Let me see. This is for very little children, and I'm not going to sing it with you, but this is a song that I use sometimes. You know, songs are very useful for children. And this is a lovely song which has this repetition all the time, no? And they always change a little part of it. And I use this even in kindergarten with what they call, the kindergarten teachers call it wet poetry, poesía mojada, which is a fantastic activity. Poesía mojada is simply you create the characters on e-phone, no? Eva foam or goma eva, and then you need a surface that is like metal, or also the window pane can be for that. You put a little bit of water with a spray, and then the goma eva sticks on the surface, right? So you can move it when you are using it. And the song is very, very simple. And it goes with I mean, you can invent the movements, right? But it goes like slippery fish, swimming in the water. I'm such a bad singer. Slippery fish. And then it goes gulp, gulp, gulp. Oh no, it's been eaten by air. And then comes the octopus, which I happen to have somewhere here. I think that my octopus is on the floor. Yes. Wait a minute, I'm going to look for it. No, it's here. It was not on the floor. Look. So it's been eaten by an octopus. Octopus, octopus. Squiggling in the water. Well, and it goes on and on like this. And the kids can have the different animals when you sing it again, and I mean little animals, or they can move the animals on the window pane if it is wet poetry, or you can create a diorama with them and hang in the different things, and they can move them when we use them. So there are many different things you can do. And it's great if you bring the songs again and again and the stories again and again into the classroom, because we all like to be told the same story again. This is something nice, because we know that it's like the songs when you go to listen to your favorite to a favorite singer, and you are there listening, no, in the stadium, and they sing the song you like, and you love singing with the singer as well. That is the same thing. So you can bring the stories again and again for them to use the language they know already, yeah, and to use different props and things to play with. So I think I will, wait a minute, I will stop here, with this, I would like to share with you, perhaps, some possibilities or some books that are ideal for performative activities. And this is one. This is a very nice one. Are you a monkey? Because we have lots of books with animals, right? And we teach animals, and we think that it's great to teach animals. And I always wonder, why do we teach animals? What do we do with animals? Yes, we know they belong to the children's lives, etc., etc. But why do we teach animals? So why don't we play with animals, right? Well, yes, I think that there are many reasons why we can teach animals, right? One reason can be because we need to protect animals, and animals have rights. And the sooner we start thinking about this, the better for the animals and for our world, right? But how can we go beyond labeling animals and have a more fulfilling activity in the classroom? Well, for example, Are You a Monkey? It's a lovely book. It's a book by a French writer. Her name is Marine Rivoal. And it's about, look at that. It's the images are wonderful. And you can ask the children to find different animals here. And so children easily, maybe because children love animals, right? Now, for example, it's easy for the children to see the starfish or to see the lion, but then look, there's a turtle, there's a snake. Oh, look at that, there's a hidden zebra. Oh, there's a toucan. Wow. So there are many more animals here. Well, and so they start noticing. And then what is funny here is that the animals are playing charades. And so the animals are thinking they are other animals and they're playing. For example, here is the parrot, and the parrot says that it is another animal, and they have to guess. Of course, it's very difficult for us to guess because it's very difficult for the parrot to be the lion. But so when the crocodile hears that they are playing charades, the crocodile says, I want to play. And so the crocodile does this. And we need to guess what animal this is. And what do you think it is? Ah, a giraffe? No, it's not a giraffe. A snake? No, it's not a snake. It's look at the crocodile again. Look at the crocodile. It's not an elephant. It's not a caterpillar. It's an ostrich. So now the ostrich says, I want to play. And look at what the ostrich does. What animal is the ostrich? Not a whale, but she could have been a whale. Not a hippo, but she could have been a hippo. An elephant, right? It's an elephant. And now the elephant wants to play. And the elephant is very easy. Look at that. The elephant is very, very easy. A monkey. Yeah, we all knew that. It's a monkey. And so now the monkey goes like this. Who do you think the monkey is? A koala? Could be a koala, but it's another animal. Not a snake, not a bird, but a chameleon. And the chameleon says, oh, wow, look at me, look at what I am. What do you think a snake? That was very easy, right? Yeah, look at this amazing, beautiful snake. Now, what animal can the snake be? It's very difficult for a snake to be another animal, right? But the snake is a very, very, very smart character. And this is what the snake is. Yes, Juan, you got it. It's a starfish, right? Now, the starfish wants to play, but if it was difficult for a snake, imagine for a starfish. So the starfish needs help. And there's another animal who helps the starfish. And so the starfish becomes a what? A shooting star. And that's the end of the story. And everybody loves to see the shooting star. Well, this is, for example, one book which allows for a lot of movement, because kids can create the animals, and then they can imagine other animals, or they try to represent the animals they know, or how they move, or how they roar, etc., etc. And another, to finish off, and with this I'm done, I've got here a book I like. It's very simple. I mean, I will do this one instead of this one. I was going to do Stuck, but I'm not going to do Stuck. I'm going to do this because it has the intercultural in it. And what I like about this to discuss with our children is the importance of noticing when it comes to cultural diversity, very important, cultural, ethnic diversity, etc. Because in this character, we have two friends, or two boys, who are going to become friends. And what I like is that the one who feels discriminated against is not the Black child, but the other one. And I think it's very important for a Black child to feel that the Black child has power, is empowered, right? And I think that that's a plus that this book has, which is of course not said in so many words, but it is in the story proper. And I think that that is the way I like to work with children. So the story is very simple, and I promise this is the last thing I say. The story is called Yo Yes, and by Chris Rushka, and it's about these two boys. And this one says, yo, and look at this one, yes. If we were alive, you would be one and I would be the other, and we would do it absolutely interactive, right? Hey, now for this one, pay attention to the expressions we need to add, the pauses we need to make when we tell the story, right? Hey, who? You, me? Yes, you. Oh. What's up? Not much. Why? No fun. Oh, no friends. Oh, yes. Look. Me. You? Yes, me. You? Well. Yes. Yo. Yes. Yo. And that's the end of the story, and that's the end of the presentation. I'm ready to interact with you, answer questions, or have a dialogue, or anything.
Okay, come on, open up your mics. It's wonderful. It's always a pleasure. What more can I say? You know that. I've already told you that. It's always a pleasure listening to you. And it's full of ideas, but come on.
Oh, they're so lovely. Thank you very much for the nice comments. Thank you. Thank you. I took a risk today, because the story I was telling you is a story that works very well face-to-face. But if I waited for a face-to-face encounter, I would have never read it. So I took my chance. And you had Funnily enough, what I was doing, as you could not speak because you were too many, it was what I say, that the stories are an opportunity for extensive listening, because there was a lot of extensive listening here for you. So that is the way this is something that I also would like to share with you, for you to start using it as a strategy. I always use stories to work with the pedagogical approach. No, I've got stories I use to work with pedagogical concepts. Instead of actually reading about the concept, which I also do, no, and I have some amazing, we read about pedagogy all the time, but even though we read the texts, I also work with the pedagogical concepts with the stories proper, because I'm doing both things. I'm doing all the story circle and the owning the text, plus the pedagogical part. I have lots of stories for that. Like, I don't know, Penguin, for example, it's a story I love. It's a story I use a lot. Penguin doesn't speak at all. And so Ben is very angry with Penguin because Ben wants Penguin to interact with him. And I always use it as a book to show that children understand and know much more than what we think they know when they do not speak, and that we need to respect that as well. And we need to know that and respect their time. And their times, because they do not, not all of them use language when at the same time, or are able to go from the input they understand to the actual output. Thank you, Vanessa. Yes, the wordless picture books, they have something, the wordless picture books, what they have is potential for everything to happen. So what it requires is that you are open to embrace and to interweave everything the children or the students bring. So that is your work as a mediator, right? And I must say that in my approach to teaching, which I see as complementary and necessary, what comes first is the story. And when I look at the pictures they take of me when I am doing this, the story, which can come in all forms and all shapes, and I don't care if you use whatever you use to share the story. I see myself doing the most amazing faces and incredible things with my body. It's really, I would not be able to post any of those pictures, but it doesn't matter, because what matters is the story. What matters is what's happening with the story there, right? And when you see that energy that is happening, you can feel the energy. That's why that was the drama is in, because it is very experiential and situated, right? Now, some students attending Campo de la Práctica 3 have used picture books in their training classes. Fabulous. There was a language focus, it was a must, wonderful. But there was also an insight into CSE, S in Spanish, perfect, different types of family, fantastic. In some, and into emotional education in others, friendship, helping others, the value of family ties. I don't remember the full titles, but maybe some of the students here can share the titles and maybe their experience too. Wow, the family book by Todd Parr. Yes, great. I have to show you something about the family book, which is, I brought it here and I didn't show it to you, but I can now. Yes, here, yes. I will share in a minute, wait. Now that you're saying that, I will share the screen, yeah, here. Now, we were working with the family, with families in all their shapes and all the different books, etc. The family book was one, it's a very good one to work with that. And I brought the familiarium to class. And a familiarium is, well, it's a kind of technique that you can use for animalarium. You can use it for lots of different things, for, you know, professions and, you know, lots of different things, because you can draw different parts of the things here, and then you move the different pieces of paper and you can create. Now, we brought the familiarium to the class after we read the books, and I said, problematize the familiarium. So they had a real look at the familiarium. They say, well, there was representation for lots of families, but still there was there were still some missing. So we said we could create our own familiarium if we wanted, or we could transform the original one into more. And I just gave an open task. And one of my students came with this. She used plasticine, which is a material we use a lot in the classroom, and we can create plasticine, you know, like homemade plasticine with dough and salt. And then she created these kinds of pictures. She said they were pictures, and she created like a gallery, and the different kinds of families, which of course it will never be enough, because there will be lots of families that are left aside. But it was interesting, her attempt, and her attempt at thinking outside the box and at being inclusive, right? And so this is what I had to share about that topic, that essay topic, right, which is always necessary. How can I?
Hi, Griselda.
Yes, wait a minute. Can you see what I have there? I want to stop. Now I see. Yes. Noelia, tell me.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for sharing everything. I was going to tell you that I use with teens and adults. I work with teens, but I also work in a school, secondary school, in a prison here in Olavarria. There is a very small town near Olavarria called Sierra Chica, and there is a secondary school there, apart from a primary school too, right? And we used the book, The Color Monster, to talk about emotions. And we sometimes, what I liked about your presentation is that this resource of using books, real books, is fantastic, because we sometimes forget, because we use a lot of videos or things online, which are cheaper, let's say, because we all know that books are expensive, but they kind of have another magical effect on students, right? And reading from a real book and seeing the colors and touching and going through it, it has another effect on them, right? So thank you for bringing this to our teaching every day. I like it very much.
Thank you. Now, you're saying lots of things that are necessary. You're talking about, I mean, the holistic thing. No, when you open a book in the classroom, it's the holistic experience, which is so important. Now, I know that books are expensive. I know that. And so in class, what we also do is we create material for us to use other resources when we do not have the books. So we know the books, we know the story, and we create material to, I'm going to show you. For example, this is the book. This is the book, no? The Dot, a classical book by Peter Reynolds. But this is what we propose. Use cards, because it's a simple book, to create the book. And it's painted by us. It's drawn by us. We do it, all of it. right? It's no copy. We work with it. And so you do like this and you do like this, and then you have the characters and you start telling the story with the characters like this. And then, you know, the little girl has to makes a dot and then signs it. And then the teacher frames the dot and then she feels very proud. And so she says, oh, I can make better dots than that. And so a blue dot and a yellow dot and a purple dot and a red dot and a yellow dot and a big dot and a dot without a dot. And so then comes an exhibition, and she teaches this little boy that by starting like this, the whole thing can start. So in this way, you have a book here. And, you know, this is really a very good exercise. You can use a video to watch the steps. You can pause the video and start doing your own thing. Or for Stuck, which is this one, which is a very easy book, or a very absurd and ridiculous book, wonderful for young children to throw things on the tree to get rid of the kite. In fact, the child even threw the ladder he could have used to climb. So that ridiculous it was. So what we create is the pictures ourselves. And so we you know, you stick them on the wall, and the student teachers even plastify it, right? And so we create, of course, the kite, like that. And it's so simple. It's not, you know, it has nothing special. It's just a simple thing. We do it, and they have to be homemade because this is ours, right? And we do not have all the material. So we need to resort to what we have and value what we do. And so that is something that we can do to turn the books into a three-dimensional experience and, you know, do something beyond the classroom book, not the classroom book, the course book. And change from informative language into expressive language.
You made me think of McRae, you know, representational language that communicates on more levels than just transactional language. Yeah, definitely. I want to share.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to share a comment from Celeste. She's following us on YouTube. And she goes, thank you so much for your lovely talk. It was a pleasure to hear you and analyze together the different ways we can use and work with stories in our classes. Now we have too much to reflect on. So that was Celeste on YouTube.
Thank you, Celeste. And thank you for saying that, because the idea I had in mind has just come back, and I would like to close with that idea because it's, for me, very important. It doesn't have to be important for everybody, right? Wait a second. Wait, I need to remember because I had it and then it's gone. It's gone again. Now, yes, I remember. It's such a, you know, there is something we say all the time, but we don't do it really. And what we say is, I always hear that, we need to give students voice. Students' voices are important. We need to listen to our students. Okay, so how are we going to listen to our students, and how are we going to let students talk and know their voices about things, not only about their emotions, which is another thing to talk about, if we do not let them to speak in Spanish when we do the book talk, right? We will never ever listen to them, and they will never have the chance to say a word in their English class. Because what can I say if I say pencil? Nothing. But if I react to a story and I can say something about that story and how it impacts on me, and children are amazing, so we will never ever let them have a voice in class. So what happens is that you're talking in English, right? You're talking in English, and the kids follow you because you're using all of yourself. And they react to it and they say something in Spanish. Embrace that. Embrace that. If you feel you need to, say it in English so they can hear what they said in English, right? And repeat it as many times you want, if you want to. But let them say things when you are with them, when you're sharing this. Because first you're giving them voice, and that's fundamental. And second, they are using their cognitive skills to the utmost because they are using 2 languages. They are understanding in one language, they are processing that information in their mother tongue, and they are trying to say something in their mother tongue that they heard and processed in another language. And that process is happening in their minds and in their hearts. Yes, and we need to learn to do that. And it happens, and it's a moment in class, because we will have lots of other moments in which we will work with the language focus, and we will work with English, and when they read the stories with you, and when there is interactive reading, and when they do their work, and when you practice reading aloud with them, and they can read aloud the stories themselves, there are lots of opportunities for them to use the language. Do not deprive them of a voice, please. And when we say we give students voice, let's see whether that happens in our classrooms. And here I know lots of teachers are going to say, no way, I only have 40 minutes. I will not spend the 40 minutes doing that. Well, I'm sorry. I think differently. We will not agree on that.
It's fair to disagree. It's fair to disagree sometimes, right? Yeah.
As Todd Parr says, it's okay. So it's okay to disagree.
I'm also sharing Natalia Moran's comments on YouTube. She says, thanks, it was lovely. It's so important to have teachers like Griselda. They always inspire us and make us reflect. And we couldn't agree more with you, Natalia. It's wonderful to have her. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. If there are no more comments,
yeah, I think we can round off. Probably.
Yes, perhaps we can finish with a short book, with a short story that I think I have here, and perhaps with that we can say goodbye. Yes, this is a nice magical book. I promise it's magical. I promise you have to move because it has to do with movement. So you will have to move where you are. And I will be big. I will be, yeah. Can you see me? Wait, perfect. So you have, this is the end. After this, I say goodbye and that's it. So if there is no more, there are no more questions, I will finish with this, okay? So your last minute question, or I tell the story.
Now we want the story.
Yeah, I know. There are no cats in this book. Do you know this book? Hey, look. Hey, it says there are no cats in this book. Do you think there are no cats in this book? I don't think so. Now look, oh, there are cats in this book. My goodness. And it belongs to me, and that's my sticker. I've got sticker. Now, there are lots of cats. Oh, look at this yellow cat, and this blue cat, and this red cat, and this brown cat. I love them. I love this one. Oh, so lovely. Now, let's see. Hey, look. Did you pack the tin opener? What's going on here? Psst, psst. I think I just heard something. What's going on? Oh, there are no cats in this. Oh, they are about to go. Look, they've got a suitcase full of things. Oh, hello. You look friendly. Yes, of course we do look friendly. We are lovely. Oh, now they ask us, have you come to visit? Yes, we came to visit. Oh, yes, but the thing is, we're just about to go. Okay, yes, says the little one, the one in red, the red cat. We are going to see the world. Oh, sorry, we can't stay. Oh, yes, we're going to see the world. Bye. Oh, we can go this way. Now, I need help. We need to push the wall. We need to push. Can you help pushing? I need to see you pushing. Can you push, 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 push? Oh, look what you did to this cat. My goodness. People, this cat is very, very long now. Oh, but perhaps they left. No, I don't know. They didn't. Look, they're all here. Yeah, they're all here. And look at the cat now. Oh, I know, says this one. 1, 2, 3, jump. We need to jump. We need to jump. Are you ready to jump on the chair? Okay, we need to jump. I want to see everybody jump. Ready, steady, go, jump. Woo! Into the world. Oh my goodness. Oh no, it didn't work. Oh no. But I think they look at that one. This one thinks it did. No, it didn't work. No, we're still here. Oh, what a shame. Oh, really? How I wish we could see the world. Oh, that's a brilliant idea. Now let's wish ourselves out. I wish. Oh, no, look. This one is for us. Psst, 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 psst. Will you help us? Before you turn this page, close your eyes and wish for us. Now, wish out into the world. Now we need to close our eyes and we need to say, I wish. I need to see all of you saying, I wish. Ready, steady, go. We start. I wish. Oh! Look, they are gone. We did it. They are gone. This is amazing. Wow. People, look at this. We've got a postcard to you. The cats are here. Oh my. Let's see what it says. It says, wishing worked. We are out. The world is great. We've made lots of friends. Hope you're not too lonely. Back soon. Okay. That's the end of the book then. Meow. No, it's not the end, Noelia. We're still here. Look. Meow. Yes, we're still here. Look. Oh, you waited for us. Home, sweet home. See how we learn the idioms here? Home, sweet home. They're always in the books. We brought you a surprise. Would you like to see the surprise? You don't know what it is. You will be surprised. The surprise is more friends. Hey, look at that lovely person. Hey, I think that this one is looking at you, Juan, right? Oh, and I think that this one, hello, is for Vanessa, right? Yeah. Oh, and what do cats do when they are very, very happy? They purr and purr. And now that's the end of the story. Thank you very much for the invitation. I was very, very happy.
Thank you. We love you so much. You're always a pleasure. And thank you everyone here on Zoom, those on YouTube, everyone who joined the celebrations of the 50th anniversary of our institution. We hope you can come back to all these talks on YouTube because it will be there, so you can enjoy them again when you feel like it. And thank you so very much once again. Hope to see you again soon and have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Griselda, one more time. We love you. Thank you. Bye now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Love your earrings.
Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. They were for you, Eve. I didn't have the flowers today, so I had to do something.